Hey, so did you watch my last movie? It's like an hour with a lot of reviews to kind of catch up, clear the board. Um, I guess not. No one's really, no one's watching my videos, but that is not gonna stop me. So to try to stick to this new format, um, since the last time I watched two movies and played a game. Also read some comics, but I'll talk about that at the end. I watched one of the movies was called The Lair, and I had a lot of fun with it, but I think I had a lot of fun at the movie's expense. Like I laughed at the movie, not with the movie. Um, it's about a group of soldiers and a female pilot, and they're fighting some um, monsters. um, and I laughed because it was like over the top. It was cliche. It's fair to say not the best acting. Yeah, um, it's very obviously on a budget, but I actually thought that, especially the female lead, the pilot, she well, first of all, she was very physical. Like she looked the part. I think she did her own stunts. She had the making of a great action hero, um, uh, and she had okay acting. I would say. I mean, I'm not looking for Shakespeare here. Um, so yeah, I had a fun time. It was not what I expected. But I can sort of recommend it if you can handle, yeah, mediocre. I think it's fair to say mid, mediocre acting. Um, yeah, you get to see you get to see souls that is in acting. Actually, one thing that stood out to me was, um, and like I have served in the Danish Air Force. I know how the military looks from the inside, and it just was so obvious in this movie, seeing how they handle weapons, how they communicated, and all that. Uh, Compared to a movie I watched earlier, The Covenant, I talked about that. It's very obvious that they have former or current military professionals to help them with how do you behave, how do you speak, what what's going on, just in general. Because this was kind of like in the layer, just kind of like yeah, fan fiction or role playing or war games, I think it's called. But I had fun. It's a bit of an over the top premise. There's some things in there that you won't believe or and won't see other anywhere else, any other places. So, yeah, I can recommend The Lair if you can live with the flaws. I watched Trolls Band Together. Yeah, it's a clever pun. Um, Pretty sure it's the third one, and I didn't rewatch any of the other Trolls. I know I have watched them, and I know I have enjoyed them, but I can't tell you who's who or what's going on, and you don't need to. Like these are simple stories. Um, you'll pretty quickly you'll get the feel. Oh, this is the main female character, and this is the main male character, Trolls, and they have feelings for each other, and it's complicated and all that. It's no biggie, no complicated. It's mostly the movie trying to um, come up with music uh, or related puns, because the whole thing is music. Is really the band together. These trolls, they sing. Um, so at one point they are like driving a vehicle, I can say, and in order to drive fast, they call it the hustle. So when they drive fast, they do the hustle, and then the song comes on, and it's like that. It's not offensive. It's not boring. Doing to the it what it is. It is shallow, but it's also fairly quick, like very, yeah, very rapidly paced. Um, as I feel a lot of these things that screw younger kind of tend to be a lot more than when I was that age. But so so you're not bored because there's always constantly things happen, characters uh, talking, jumping around. It's yeah, it's fairly well animated. Can't say that it's particularly stylized or impressive, but it's definitely up to standard. Like I'll say up to, yeah. They look nice. It's a kids movie. I didn't hate it. So can I recommend it? Not if you're mid 30s like I am. that and a bit. But if you have kids, you can definitely find worse things to put on. I guess if you already watched the first two Trolls movies, you know if this is good. It's just, yeah, it's the middle of the road. It's inoffensive. It doesn't pushes any envelopes. It's just there. It's nice. Um, yeah, let's continue with what I watched. I watched a Netflix series called Captain Laserhawk, and it's a Ubisoft series, and it has Ubisoft from characters from all across their games, and they are reimagined in the most strangest way, and that's part of the fun. That's part of the experience with Captain Laserhawk is to see what Ubisoft characters shows up and where and how do they show up and how are they treated. Unfortunately, one of my greatest characters, and I won't spoil any, but just they showed up fairly bland and then were written out. Um, it's it's quite stylish. Actually, there was a part where it was kind of like live action that I didn't like. Um, so I'm trying to saying that Captain Laserhawk is a bit hit and miss. Um, I liked a lot of things about it, and then there was other things was like, okay, you're just going um, in the what do you call it, being weird for weirdness sake, or uh, surreal. I feel um, like I think I saw someone talk about a bad superhero movies where they likened it to like public vandalism, but for no reason. I wouldn't say this is vandalism of the Ubisoft characters, but I did feel that it was kind of pointless to a certain degree. That just became more pointless as the show grew on. It's not that long. I feel like it maybe is a 6 episodes or something. But then trying to keep it not spoiler. Then the season ends with quite a setup. When we're like, yeah, okay, I'm definitely watching season 2 because it seems like maybe this was just a proof of concept or them finding their footing. Um, so of course, if you have no idea about the Ubisoft games, and we're talking like from way back, um, and about their characters, then of course this kind of misses a bit of the fun. So keep that in mind. Maybe check out just one of few episodes. I think the beginning of the season was the best parts anyway. To see if it's something you like, or maybe you just think they did that to that character. Wow, I'm not on board with this. Um, yeah, so that was Captain Laserhawk. I'll say give it a test. Let me know what you think. Okay, so that leaves us with two other things I want to talk about this week. One of a set of comic books that I'm just going to mention at the end. Not going to go into them, and so that'll mean that the last proper thing is a video game that I played called Whispers of a Machine. It's a game that I had in my library for some time, and now I played it, and I'm very happy that I did. I enjoyed it very much. It's a point and click adventure puzzle solve game. It has an old aesthetic, like it's pixel art, but it's not an old game. Um, Unfortunately, at some point I was using I turned to a walkthrough because I just got stuck. You play as an agent, like a cyborg. You come to some part in Sweden because I could realize that some of the signs were in Swedish. Um, I, I really liked the environment and the setting, and I was hooked on the story. And you have these special skills, like you can scan stuff that I was really on board with. And so that'll be part of my criticism is that you didn't use it enough. Like you had a scanner tool so you could scan the screen for fingerprints, DNA, and the stuff, but then you end up not using it a lot, which I thought was a shame because I really liked it. Um, and then yeah, you end up not using because, like say, there was a door with a hidden switch, and I used the scanner, but then the scanner doesn't find the hidden switch because I want to say, like, unlike a lot of point and click adventures, I don't know if you can, accidentally solve the puzzle before you even know that it's a puzzle. Um, but then, of course, the characters that you talk to aren't there, or they won't talk to you yet. So, for instance, I had to talk to some characters. They told me, "Hey, there's a secret switch at this door," and then when I looked at the door, I could find it. So I'm kind of like fighting the game or the exploration of the game. Um, like another puzzle is that there's a keypad, and I can tell that it uses a 4-digit key. Um, and so then I thought, okay, I can use the scanner and the keypad to look at which key have been used, because that'll leave out a lot of possibilities, and then go around solving the keypad like that. This is literally something that I learned from my guy, where he's doing that. He's dusting fingerprints, and he's okay, it's a 4-digit code. These 4 buttons are used. Won't take that long to figure out the combination. But you could not. Again, you had to talk to a character um, that will tell you this, or you have to find the code, or you have to look it up. The same as, like, you can't pick up things before the characters has a use for them. Um, so that put a bit of the damper on the story, but of course I always said, if the options are between, frustration and walkthrough, a little hint, a little help, definitely go use the walkthrough, and that's what I was able to do. Just get a little bit of clues on where to go or who to talk to, and then I could continue, and I had a good time. It can definitely be done within a weekend. It's not that long. Um, so if you, like puzzle games, I usually, there's a certain level of pixels art that I just can't enjoy, but this one was quite good. There's a bit more pixels than than other games, or other games with pixel art. So I was able to enjoy it. I was able to, I had a good time with Whispers of a Machine. I'm glad I played it, and I think if those sounds like the type of games, then you should too. And lastly, I just want to mention what's coming up, and maybe it's not coming up next week because of Christmas and stuff. So maybe it'll be in the new year. But I'm currently following a comic book rabbit hole. It's amazing. When I became aware of the series Scavenger's Reign that I talked about in my long review video, my latest video, the one before this, I mentioned that I didn't enjoy watching it, but that I also thought it looked pretty, especially in the landscapes, and that it looked like it would have been inspired based on a comic book, and I'm sure it is. And there were some comments and said this looks like something called the world of Aldebaran. I don't know how to Aldebaran. That's how I read it in my head. I don't know if I can do anything, but apparently there was some older but also still ongoing comic books. French, I want to say, but could be Belgian. You know how it is. By a guy called Leo, and apparently it's still working on it. Like there's quite a bit of spin-off series and different things going on with those, but I'm very much enjoying them. So I think that's what I'll be talking about in my next video, or in the upcoming video very soon. There's just a lot of comic books to read, but I am enjoying it. So I'll talk about more about that when I have the full pictures. because yeah, I keep digging into this guy's work and I keep finding more. He's been very productive through the years. So that was it for this week's video. I am hoping that I will make a top 3 things before New Year's. But in case I don't see you before then, well, Merry Christmas or whatever fits you, and Happy New Year. And hopefully I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for stopping by for this one.